Hey guys, it's Joe again. I think I bumped the volume up a little bit on this one because the first video seemed a little bit low. It's possible that you'll pick up more background noise because it's relatively warm here in Maryland and the windows are open, so traffic's going by and my dog is eating and whining in the background, but we'll make it through. What I wanted to do with this short video is sort of describe for you what really interests me when I look at a list of domain names. I shop for domains probably 3 or 4 days a week. A lot of those days I don't wind up with anything. I've posted in the forum at SemEasy that for whatever reason I've had my best luck on Tuesdays. I'm not sure what that is all about. Maybe people are out of money by Tuesday after a partying weekend. I'm not sure, but Mondays aren't bad and Wednesdays aren't bad, so those are the shoulder days. But Tuesdays, for me, seem to be ridiculous. People have asked me what I pay for domains and are often surprised, but I guess what I don't make clear enough is that I pay very little in terms of for the value that I get when I buy a domain, but I walk away a lot. Not that I'm not particularly cheap in real life, but I do like a bargain, and you know, they're sort of like trains. They do come along every day, and for whatever reason, there are times when one of these domains skirts by general attention, and you can grab it cheap. I just paid GoDaddy for 3 domains yesterday. I guess yesterday, and my total with the domain renewal was $90. So there was $54 I think I paid for 3 domains, each of which was a PR4. Actually, one of them was a PR5. 1 and 2 were PR4s. A couple of them had pretty decent links. One of them had some trouble. Its backlink profile was not the best, but I think I know how I can work on that. But I paid very little for it. I just wanted to see if I could sort of make it a reclamation project because its other metrics were good. But I think you can have the same experience, you know, and if on average you can come away from auctions with a PR4 for $30, including the 1-year domain renewal. I don't think you can really complain about that. So let's talk a little bit about what interests me when I buy a domain. I use PR PowerShot to do all of my shopping, and in the next video I don't want to flip over to it now because of some other stuff that would probably reveal my some of my private domain names, but I will flip over to a tool that I use as part of the process and show you how that works because it's sort of an important evaluation step. But you have to have something, in my experience, to screen out the chaff so that you're left with enough wheat to look through. And that's what we're going to do right now with PR PowerShot. I'm sure that if you understand one of the other domain shopping tools, you can duplicate my steps pretty closely. The first thing I do is tell PR PowerShot that I want to limit my selection to .coms, .infos, .nets, and .orgs. I couldn't tell you if the rest of these can provide the same amount of link juice, but my suspicion is that they don't. And I'm not going to, at this point, since I know what does work, I don't want to spend a lot of time testing other things. I'll wait for somebody else to do a conclusive test, and if it impresses me, then I'll jump on board too. I unselect all of these lower PR ranks, and I know that that's not what everybody wants to do. I know that there are people who are perfectly comfortable buying PR1s, PR2s, PR3s. I'd rather have fewer properties, more powerful, and I understand that PageRank is not where the sun rises and sets, but if I eliminate these from the mix before I begin to look at the other metrics, what I'm usually left with is a lot fewer to look through and a lot more that have the potential to be bargains. You see, for example, if I win an auction, I guess my average auction win for a PR4 is about 18 bucks, might be 20. But the lowest these auctions typically go are $12. And so for me to save that 6 or 8 bucks and go down to a PR2 or a PR3, it's just not worth it. I'm going to put time into these PBNs, as I'm about to show you in a moment. And so I'd rather have a great starting platform to work with. So after I've done that, I go in and this is my personal preference, and I really don't have science to back this up, but I tell it that I want domains that are older than 3 years. I only want those that have backlinks. I typically, if I know I'm going to be busy the next day, I might look for the next 48 hours, but often I just choose the next 24 hours for the auction end. I don't care about the domain name links. I leave all these checked. I do filter by starting price. This doesn't say starting price, but that's what it is. I usually go $40 or $50. I change my results to 100 just to keep from leafing through a ton of pages. Then I click the Go button. I tell it I don't want to save the search. I haven't figured out how PR PowerShot saves the search and emails you and makes it easy for you to go and get the list of results. So I've kind of given up on that. I just do it manually each morning. So now it's going to go out and it's going to create my list of domains. Typically I'm already into my day when I do this, so the first thing I do is change the auction end time so that I can see the ones that are expiring closest. And I begin to scroll down, take a look at what I've got. I have no idea. Oh, okay, I only got 29 because that's all that are going to expire within the next 24 hours. That's not always the case, but 29 seems a bit low. So let's take a little bit of a look at these. See, the starting price, these are what they were listed at, but not necessarily what they're at this moment. But I don't pay a lot of attention to that. I pretty much have got that limitation out of the way when I did my entry on the filter box. I start to look at things like PageRank, and I look to see if there's anything that's ridiculously high. These are just 4s and 5s. Here's a 6. Not a horrible looking 6, but as you'll see, and I don't really, I'll tell you the other thing about domain names. I'm going to be completely honest here. I look for things that are branded and can be sort of rebranded. I never did support the whole exact name domain, or what is it, EMDs. It doesn't matter. Weapons of mass destruction. I don't much care about exact domain names at all, and so I stay away from them even here because, for example, I don't want to buy one that says economy mopeds and then try to make it a PBN site that serves orthodontists or lawyers or something like that. So I might go for something like Alton Konak. I have no idea if that is an actual word that is a product or something like that in another place. But to me, that could be a branded domain name, and nobody would be the wiser. So I try to stay with those kinds of things. I really like .orgs. I find that .orgs go for less money than the equivalent metrics in .coms, with absolutely no difference in terms of what they seem to provide in juice. Now, here's where it gets controversial for me. I do care about traffic. You will notice that most of these have 0, but I don't screen that out because there's no way to do it in PR PowerShot, so you kind of have to eyeball it when you get the search results. But what I really do care about is trust flow and citation flow. I had a conversation in the chat room earlier with somebody who talked about how those can be faked, and to a degree that's absolutely true. I don't think you would ever want to buy those metrics alone in a vacuum, but as part of an overall domain strategy, it's not a bad way to go. So I like citation flow and trust flow that are both a minimum of 15. But if one is somewhere around 25, maybe 23, 24, 25 or higher, I will make a little bit of an allowance for the other one, maybe down as low as 10 or 11 or 12. When I get done with a domain, when I get done starting my PBN out, I've already put content in place that is strong enough for keeping those metrics where they are and maybe even increasing those metrics over time. So I'm not particularly worried about them being super high. I know how to increase them over time. One of the things that I like about PR PowerShot too is that if you go over here, let's take this domain. This is Fareham, UK, probably maybe a town. I don't know. It's got 20 traffic, page rank of 4. There's the Alexa rank. They've been building some backlinks, so we're going to have to take a look at the backlink profile to make sure that they haven't been building a bunch of junk with GSA or something like that, because I really don't think those domains are worth even the transfer fees. But they've got trust flow of 19 and citation flow of 20. So we'll go over to the more info. That'll give you some metrics on social engagement. In this case, not much social engagement. Subpar, at least a little bit subpar for what I like domain authority. I prefer mine to be 25 or higher, but as you can see, this isn't, terribly out of the mix. It's not DMOZ indexed, but it is Google indexed, and that's what I care most about. So what I'll do at this point is begin to research Fareham UK a little bit more, and I'm going to jump over. I'm going to end this video, come back with a part 2 on domain purchases, and sort of work within the confines of that tool so you get a little bit better idea of how you take one of the candidates that jumps out of PR PowerShot and make a final determination as to whether or not you want to be in the bidding. Talk to you in the next video.